I've been playing Respawn Entertainment's Apex Legends practically non-stop. This new addition to the Battle Royale genre came out of nowhere to near universal praise and has already surpassed 25 million players worldwide. To say it's been successful is putting it lightly, and it's easy to see why. Aside from having the tight responsive gunplay of Titanfall 2, the game takes elements from various other titles, both in and out of the genre, and improves upon them to deliver a one-of-a-kind experience. Yet the aspect that stuck out to me the most was its placement within the Titanfall franchise. Rather than letting it be its own world, Apex Legends takes place 30 years after the events of Titanfall 2, which is referred to, in-universe, as the Battle of Typhon. For context, the central conflict in both Titanfall 1 and 2 takes place in the far-off future between two warring factions: the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, IMC, and the Frontier Militia, also known as just the Militia. Essentially, the IMC was founded by a group known as Hammond Robotics, who helped fund expeditions to worlds outside of Earth's space after faster-than-light travel was invented. These worlds would be known as the Frontier. After a generation of colonists from those expeditions began to make their own lives in the frontier, their land was declared property of the IMC since they funded said excursions. This led to multiple skirmishes that eventually came to be known as the Frontier War, which encompasses the campaigns of the original two titles. The reason why this was so interesting to me is because Apex Legends could be, if they played their cards right, a stepping stone to a new branch of the Titanfall universe. One thing I love about fictional universes is the way that lore can be expanded upon. Once a property becomes successful enough to have at least one spin-off, the door is left wide open for multiple forms of media to expand what's already been established. Titanfall has already dipped its feet into this before with 3 titles: Titanfall Online, Titanfall Frontline, and Titanfall Assault. Titanfall Online was a cancelled free-to-play PC port of the original game developed by South Korean developer Nexon, and the latter 2 titles were developed by Particle Games, a mobile-exclusive dev group created by Respawn founder Vince Zampella. Assault was planned to be a card game in the vein of Hearthstone, but was ultimately cancelled, shifting the developed assets to create Frontline, a mobile RTS that was shut down as of last year. Yet each property was set within the Frontier War, and had you taken control of either IMC or militia resources to get the job done. The beauty of Apex Legends is that since it takes place decades after the war's conclusion, with apparently neither faction holding major political or economic ground, the franchise is no longer limited to focusing on that conflict. They can do practically whatever they want now that there is a set conclusion to the Frontier War, meaning any potential spin-offs could focus on the ramifications said war had on the livelihood of different people. The game itself revolves around this idea, as the Apex games are a televised blood sport that was revived by a former antagonist of Titanfall 1 and 2, Blisk.
You kill me, you're better. I kill you, I'm better.
They kill you, they're better. You kill them, you're better.
Since the outer regions where the game takes place weren't as affected by the war as the Frontier, this allows the characters in Apex Legends to come from a variety of different backgrounds that have ties to the conflict. Wraith was experimented on in an IMC detention facility, Gibraltar comes from a family of search and rescue operatives in the Outlands, Mirage messed around with holopilot technology, and so on. By introducing the idea of these colorful characters with lives both in and out of the conflict, it gives the universe an identity that isn't just tied to titans, pilots, and spaceships. According to an EA representative, the next Titanfall game is going to be, quote, a new twist on the franchise. This, alongside Vince Zampella's tweet about experimenting in the universe, is exactly what I mean. For example, one aspect that could be touched upon would be how life rebuilds. Life after battle has always and will always be the most interesting facet of a war-based narrative. How do people, especially those in the middle of it all, go back to ordinary lives or find jobs after going through such an event? For example, having a Fallout/Outer World style RPG set in the Titanfall universe would be a great way of increasing not only the audience, but the lore through a variety of mechanics. Being a retired militia rifleman and using your Titan to travel and rebuild settlements on the Frontier planet would be amazing. Imagine exploring the world and dealing with prowlers, flyers, and other creatures alongside a detailed crafting mechanic where you must decide to either use parts of your Titan to keep your settlements in good condition or leave them on for further exploration. Side characters could be a mix of those who had personal and impersonal involvement with the war. You could meet scientists who've come to the planet for research expeditions and need help from the native creatures. Spaceship wrecks can be looted for crafting and codex entry purposes, and so much more. It doesn't even have to be RPGs. You could have a mobile or desktop city builder like City Skylines, having to manage resources while keeping your frontier or core system cities from falling apart. You could have an XCOM style tactical shooter with Apex mercenaries, or even the characters from Apex Legends. Hell, you could even have a space themed RTS like Master of Orion or Stellaris set during the IMC's initial spacefaring colonization. There are so many options to choose from, and it's all because of the success of Apex Legends. It's far easier to convince fans of a game franchise to be okay with an experimental product after they've already been introduced to something similar. You don't jump from the emotionally gripping Metal Gear Solid 4 to the insane Metal Gear Rising without raising a few eyebrows. Now with Apex Legends out, people can see the Titanfall universe in a brand new light. It's no longer just the serious life and death narrative about independence, but it's also a wacky blood sport about people shooting each other for fame and glory. And because of that, can be so much more. If Respawn and EA are smart about this, they'll examine any and all opportunities available for this franchise, and I wish them the best of luck with their next Titanfall related project. Apex Legends has brought me back to my old school Halo days, sitting in front of the TV, grabbing my headset and saying just one more game before going to bed. And like Apex Legends, I hope the next Titanfall game will be something no one sees coming.